When Leslie Davis recently announced her engagement, many HGTV fans were happy for her, but also confused. Almost immediately, questions began flooding social media. Some viewers said they thought Leslie was still married. Others wondered if they had missed a major chapter in her life. The confusion grew fast, and Leslie decided to address it directly. In a personal clarification, Leslie confirmed that she and her former husband, Jacob Davis, quietly divorced back in 2022. Separation wasn't recent, dramatic, or tied to her new engagement. It had already happened years earlier, long before the proposal that fans are now talking about. What made the situation confusing is that Leslie never publicly announced the divorce when it happened. There were no headlines, no interviews, and no social media posts explaining the change. And that silence was intentional. Leslie explained that the decision to keep the divorce private was made for one simple reason: their children. Leslie and Jacob share 3 sons, and according to her, protecting their stability was the top priority. She made it clear that Jacob chose to stay out of the public eye entirely so their kids could grow up without unnecessary attention or speculation. In her words, he has been a rock star dad throughout the process, and they continue to co-parent respectfully and supportively. This clarification matters because it reframes the entire narrative. The engagement announcement didn't come out of nowhere, and it wasn't overlapping with a marriage. The chapter with her former husband had already closed quietly and thoughtfully, well before Leslie moved forward with her life. Leslie also addressed why fans hadn't seen obvious signs of a separation. Unlike many public figures, she didn't use social media to document the emotional transition. She continued focusing on work, family, and raising her kids without inviting the public into a deeply personal process. In a world where celebrity breakups are often turned into content, Leslie chose privacy instead. Her twin sister and Unsellable House's co-host Lindsay Lamb also stepped in to support her, responding to fan comments and explaining that a lot had changed over the past few years. Lindsay reminded viewers that just because something wasn't shared publicly didn't mean it hadn't already happened. What stands out most in Leslie's clarification is the absence of bitterness. There was no blame placed on her ex-husband, no dramatic retelling of what went wrong. Instead, the focus stayed on mutual respect, parenting, and moving forward in a healthy way. She emphasized that divorce doesn't have to mean chaos, hostility, or public fallout, especially when children are involved. This explanation also helps fans understand why Leslie's engagement feels grounded rather than rushed. By the time she met her fiancé, she had already spent time rebuilding her life privately, adjusting to a new normal, and focusing on her family. The relationship came later, after that transition had already settled. For many viewers, this clarification was reassuring. It reminded people that television only shows a small piece of someone's life, and that not every personal milestone is meant to be shared in real time. Leslie didn't owe the public an announcement when her marriage ended, and her choice to keep that chapter private doesn't make her engagement any less genuine. In the end, Leslie Davis's divorce clarification isn't about drama or controversy. It's about boundaries, about choosing privacy over headlines, and about showing that life changes can happen quietly, responsibly, and with care, even when you live part of your life in the public eye.